Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star original continent based on novel. So let's start. Dylan saw that Luo Feng didn't even seem nervous about it. He couldn't help but say, "Little uncle." Luo Feng was stunned. Dylan usually called him Your Majesty. Why did he change now? There are many hidden dangers in the path to becoming strong. You cannot get careless. Dylan said nervously, "I'm here on orders from the Grandmaster to protect you. Even if we meet any true dangers, I can swiftly call my teacher Bloodthirst Emperor over. However, this is only during your Domain Lord stage. When you reach Sector Lord level and go explore the more dangerous areas, you'll experience far crazier levels of danger. And the guard team cannot be there to protect you anymore. When that time comes where there is no one to protect you, characters like Blood Demon Emperor may arrange for assassination attempts on you. People may not even know how you die." "I understand." Luo Feng nodded. "If you knew that, how could you still offend him like that?" Dylan said. "Dylan, although I understand it, it's too late now." "All right," Luo Feng said. Dylan couldn't help but shake his head. Luo Feng was grateful for Dylan's concern. However, Dylan couldn't possibly know about his trump cards. When he reaches Sector Lord Pinnacle, he would immediately have 50 million mixed elements. With that huge amount, he would definitely buy valuable treasures. Like training deities of the world. Or evolving the cloud contact vine to undying. Anyway, he already had a rough idea of how to strengthen himself. Along with his clones, he naturally had his own ways of making sure he wouldn't die. His strength may not be enough to withstand those beings, but he could still improve his survival rate. Luo Feng, there's mail." Barbata's voice resounded in his mind. "It should be the mission completion rate." Luo Feng muttered and immediately sent a thread of consciousness into the Virtual Universe network. Virtual Universe Yuseong Mountain Primal Region, Luo Feng's villa. Within the study, Luo Feng sat at his desk and gently tapped open the mail, and while looking at the subject title, he realized that it was the third level's mission completion status. The details were: "You've already completed the highest point mission's third level. Through the judgment of the members, Luo Feng, your completion rate of this third level is 100%. You'll get 300,000 points and the right to go on to the fourth level." Seeing those words, Luo Feng and Barbata were stunned. 100% completion. It actually reached that level. It was absurd. It represented that the upper echelon members that judged his mission on Blood Demon Planet to be completely satisfactory from start to end. This made Luo Feng suspicious. He had already guessed that his completion rate would be high, but 100% was extreme, after which he looked at the comments. Evaluation: Bloodthirst Emperor lowered himself to welcome you and prepared a huge banquet for you. Even with all these formless pressures along with his status and reputation, Luo Feng, you actually still dealt the death sentence to all 21, it is commendable. You maintained your sense of self, despite all the threats and pressure. You are indeed strong and sturdy. Well done. We hope you can carry on this way." Seeing those words, Luo Feng laughed. "What does it mean?" Barbata shouted, his voice piercing. "The evaluation says it's very satisfied with you. Why is it so?" "Because I was unwilling to compromise and completed the mission perfectly." Luo Feng's eyes gleamed brightly as he laughed. "I completely understand now." "What do you understand?" Barbata asked curiously. "You know very little about human character." Luo Feng shook his head. On Earth, Luo Feng was considered the upper echelon too, hence it was easy for him to consider things from that angle. What did the Virtual Universe Company's upper echelon need? They needed assistance. Even with the Emperor-level Undyings, they were still only considered as helpers of the Knights. After that, when they become the Great Knights themselves, there would still be even greater beings above these Knights, beings like the Primal Chaos City Leader etc. In summary, the true bosses, the upper echelon people. As for those below, they were simply there to execute orders. If I were to nurture a genius, It would not be bad if he became an emperor-level undying. As for becoming a knight, the chances are extremely low, hence this mission is actually for them to pick their assistants in the future. Luo Feng muttered. If I were the upper echelon members, I'd naturally hope for my underlings to stay strong and finish the mission. If they were to back down in the face of danger or compromise when there's trouble, the missions wouldn't be able to complete fully. These sort of underlings naturally wouldn't do. Strong and firm. To the upper echelon, they definitely wish for their underlings to be strong and firm, acting like a loyal dog to them. Luo Feng smiled. It was like the statesmen and generals of ancient China. They were all incredibly loyal and were even willing to die rather than to give in. These were the underlings the upper echelon would like. Talent, loyalty and firmness. These were good underlings. In truth, it was hard to find such people. Most absolute geniuses had themselves as the core. They judged the hour and sized up each situation, backing down at danger and would usually submit in the face of danger. However, these naturally went against the mission requests. Hence the judgment of this level was especially easy. If Luo Feng had spared the two undyings, the mission completion rate would definitely be lower than 80% in the evaluation. It would have stated that he was too protective of himself, a coward, and was unable to take huge responsibility. If Luo Feng had only killed one undying and heavily punishing the other, he would have barely passed 80%. But Luo Feng's actions naturally resulted in 100%. Luo Feng was very firm and decisive, bold and dedicated to progress. Even in the face of danger, he hardly ever backed down, unless it was truly something he couldn't handle. Luo Feng, look at the fourth level. Barbata shouted, there's another mail. Luo Feng laughed and opened the mail. The highest point mission has 4 levels, each getting more vicious than the other. The third was already vicious enough. Who knows what the fourth level will be? The first level gave 100,000 points. The second had 200,000 points. The third was 300,000 points. The 4th, even though it seemed like it was just 400,000 points, in truth, it was probably the most critical to the extra reward that came after, that being 1 million points. Hence the importance of the fourth level was huge. Luo Feng gently tapped open the mail. Fourth level, it is the final level of the highest point mission. It is also the most crucial for the extra reward. We hope, Luo Feng, that you will carry it out carefully. Mission background. Ever since Luo Feng rose up and became a supervisor envoy of the Ganwu department, his family's position has been getting stronger. As his bloodline members range in the hundreds of thousands, including the many daughter-in-laws and so on, his members exceed over 1 million. Even though they have their family rules, however, it's not realistic for the family to have complete supervision over the later generations that are scattered throughout the universe. Hence, naturally there will be vermin within the family. Mission details. Luo family's 21 members have been recognized as guilty. Luo Feng, you will now sentence these 21. You can choose death, jail for 100 years, jail for 10,000 years, or innocent. If you choose death, you will have to execute them personally. These 21 are. Luo Feng's face was ashen as he read. He continued to look through the list. Luo Fuxin, Luo Feng's 15th generation grandson, he used Luo family's influence to do energy business. When he meets a competitor, he either assassinates them or sabotages them, and he had also once completely massacred a family of thousands. Since Luo Feng is the supervisor envoy of the Ganwu Universe Department, the many departments don't dare investigate. Luo Yu Qian, Luo Feng's 9th generation grandson. Luo Yu Rong, Luo Feng's 9th generation grandson. Luo Fang Qiong, Luo Feng's 12th generation grandson. Luo Honggua, Luo Feng's father. Luo Feng began reading this mail while sitting there. As he read, he slowly got up, his face growing more ashen, especially after seeing the 21 names on the list. His gaze went manic. That last name, Luo Honggua, made him slam the table violently. Rumble. The table exploded and the laptop split apart. Damn. Luo Feng's expression was frenzied as he cursed. 21, 21. Luo Feng's expression was ugly, and he laughed softly at the same time. Vicious, I just punished 21 in Blood Demon Planet. Now they give me this 4th level, making me sentence another 21 of them. Even though all of them are mostly my later generation grandsons, the final one is still my father. Implausible. Seriously implausible. Luo Feng gritted his teeth. I do admit there are some amongst the 21 that deserve death, but my father. He does nothing but play virtual games the whole day, for you all to actually deem him guilty. The family was huge, including the women, it hit over 1 million. With such a large family, it was certain that there would be some vermin within, but for Luo Hongguo to be placed in the list, it made Luo Feng rage. Who was that? That was his father. The father that nurtured him. How could he forget that back then, when they were in the rental house, his father had worked hard to feed the family? According to the virtual universe's investigative results that were found, even if he was dragged to a court, the punishment of death sentence would be too severe. He would be jailed for at least 10,000 years, etc. However, Luo Feng was very clear about his father's personality. It was obvious his father had unknowingly been used by others. Actually, with the virtual universe company's investigative abilities, it could easily find the real reason. However, they purposely chose not to do so, or they decided not to provide extra information. This way. With 21 names on the list, each with different positions and different limits of crimes. Like an emperor-level undying, even if he massacred over 10 planets and over 100 billion lives, he wouldn't be guilty. However, for normal people, within the confines of the law, even if they killed one universe citizen, he could be sentenced to death. Father. Luo Feng gripped his fists tightly. What are you prepared to do, Luo Feng? Barbata muttered on his shoulder, you sentenced all 21 members on Blood Demon Planet to death before. But now, the Virtual Universe Company has sent another 21 of them, yet all of them are from your family. Damn, look, these 21 all have the Luo name. It's definitely intentional, and was created to make your life difficult, and then your father's name is there as well. How will you sentence them? How do I sentence them? Luo Feng's eyes burned with rage, yet he smiled coldly. How do you think I'll do it? Impressive. The Virtual Universe Company sure is impressive. They actually give me this as the final of the highest point mission, and they even make me sentence my father. Luo Feng clearly remembered all the details of the 21 people on the list, of which the clearest in his mind was that of his father. His father's name there, it stated he had killed many important universe citizens. Of course his father had never done anything personally. One had to know he had always been on Earth and all he does was play virtual universe games, and he naturally couldn't make a move himself. The information the company had given was, Luo Hongguo was one of the die-hard players of the virtual universe game Grey Snow World. The virtual games had a huge influence on the 1008 universe countries. Because, to become an absolute warrior, it took tens of thousands of warriors for one universe level to be produced. Sector Lord chances were much lower. Hence, with many unable to progress on that path, having no dreams to pursue and rich offspring, jobs that gave them lots of time, they would all naturally choose to play these games. 100% simulation, it felt exactly like reality. If they couldn't become an absolute warrior in reality, they may still become one in these games. They could still command an army and dominate the world. How intoxicating was that? Hence, the virtual universe games were an exceptionally developed business. They had a huge market, and the competition within was naturally terrifying. The games the Virtual Universe Company made themselves, however, take up a huge portion of the market. Of which, Grey Snow World was one of the top 10 games. The highest amount of online players at a time had even reached 1/3 of citizens in a universe country. With that many players, the benefits within the game were naturally shocking. Luo Hongguo. With Luo Feng as his son, he was naturally one of the wealthy players within. His son would casually give him wealth equivalent to that of a sector lord to play. And the true warriors would normally only play these games a little. Training and strengthening their body was the most fundamental to them. Luo Hongguo had money and was incredibly passionate about the games. Thirdly, he had a talent to play these games. Last but not least, Luo Feng had forcefully made his father reach universe level. Hence, his consciousness level and reaction speeds etc. were far ahead of many other players. Naturally he made a name within. Luo Honghe had created a union within, called Nirvana. The Nirvana union grew extremely fast. However, with the players of Grey Snow World spread throughout the 1008 universe countries, many of them being the descendants of families with no hope of growing stronger, they had a lot of time to kill. These were the empty souls of reality, but they grew alive through the games. Hence, the competition amongst the unions within the games were usually brutal. Hence, this eventually resulted in disasters within reality as well. For example, the members of a union may appear in reality to kill another, making it naturally crumble. Even though the virtual universe company wouldn't reveal its players' information, the communication between players may result in unintentional revelation of information. There were also many players that called their friends by names, when a large group of them were playing together. The moment one person was compromised, everyone's information would definitely be revealed. During the growth of the Nirvana Union, there were thousands of assassination incidents in reality. Some of them were extremely brutal. As the leader of the Nirvana Union, Luo Honghe naturally had to take up this responsibility. Stupid! Luo Feng raged within. He was so mad that he was about to go crazy. My father had always been a normal person who worked very hard in life. When he was young, he didn't even get to go to school before the Great Nirvana happened. Later on, he worked hard to take care of me and my brother. He doesn't know anything about schemes. Without a good education, plain and simple, how could he have the makings of a leader of a union? How could Luo Feng not be clear on how his father was like? No matter what he did, he worked hard to survive and grow his family. When he played the virtual games he was completely immersed within. How would he know about the dangers hidden within? At its peak, 1/3 of the civilians of a universe country are online playing it simultaneously. That means at its peak, there was one playing out of 3,000 civilians at the time. Luo Feng had tried playing the games before. Every game was like a new world altogether. It was extremely addictive. A game with that many players, how huge are its benefits? With the payouts, there would naturally be schemes and hidden things going on. The Nirvana Union's growth speed, how shocking is it? Simply relying on his father, gathering countless elites to grow the union in the game itself, that wasn't too possible. If his father had such foresight and skill, he wouldn't have had to work hard for 10 to 20 years to support them before. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Maybe it's because he has money, or they know of his status. They think that the father of the supervisor envoy of the Ganwu department is powerful enough. Hence they all entered and helped build his union. Ganwu department supervisor envoy. Huge figure. To those players, this was an absolute power that ranked in the top 10 of a universe country. For his father to actually play the game and to build a union, they would naturally join him. Having money and power naturally had their benefits. Virtual Universe, Black Dragon Mountain Island 9-star Bay. Luo Feng's house. Give the order. Luo Feng ordered. Swiftly capture these 20, don't let any of them get away. After which, he slammed a piece of paper on the table. Why are you unhappy? Shushin looked at the paper. The 20 names on the list. Luo Fuxin, Luo Yuqian, Luo Yurong. Shushin was shocked after reading the list. She looked at Luo Feng and asked suspiciously, why are you capturing these 20? They all have their own businesses, and are considered exceptional amongst the later generations of offspring in the Luo family. Their businesses are doing all right, of which 3 of them, I was prepared to absorb into the family for important matters. Absorb them? Luo Feng said coldly, don't speak anymore, hurry and capture these 20. Remember, don't let anyone get away. All right. Shushin didn't ask anymore, immediately arranging for their captures. When it came to the main matters in the family, Shushin was usually in charge of them. In terms of management ability, she was indeed strong. Also, grab all of them and bring them to Qianhua planet. Luo Feng said coldly, I'll be there in 3 days. The previous 3 missions had never enraged Luo Feng this much. It may be from the fact that his later generations weren't determined enough, or the fact that the virtual universe company purposely made him do such a thing. The raging Luo Feng didn't want to slowly fly over from the Gu Lun virtual universe country in a ship. He used Dylan's God country teleportation to immediately return to the Milky Way galaxy. And after which he headed to Qianhua planet. Black Dragon Mountain Empire, Qiulong Star. In a luxurious mansion, all those that headed in and out seemed wealthy. The owner of the place was Luo Feng. He was the energy businessman that suddenly rose up within the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. The energy business was one that had sudden huge profits, and the entry requirements were also extremely high. And yet, he was still one no one dared to mess with. Even the royal family passionately supported him. Lord Luo, Lord Luo. A piercing voice resounded. A skinny skeleton middle-aged man dressed in exquisite golden robes brought a group of people along the mansion halls, shouting as they walked. From far, a person walked over. It was a handsome youth, dressed in a similarly exquisite robe. He laughed carefreely. Kaetuosai, my dear Kaetuosai, I've missed you. Ah, let me see the group of beautiful women behind you. The youth's eyes gleamed as he saw the women of all races behind. Lord Luo, these are the absolute beauties that I've painstakingly searched over 10 star fields for you. The skinny middle-aged man laughed slyly. He was very clear on how powerful this youth before him was. Even the Ganwu business department had to treat the supervisor envoy with respect. And the business head of the Ganwu department was already considered the greatest boss of the Ganwu universe country's business dealings. Who would dare offend that boss? Anyone that did so could simply give up on business altogether. Hence, he naturally had to get in this youth's good books. He knew. Even the departments all didn't dare mess with him. Also, anyone that went against him would all die. The youth carefully examined the ladies, complimenting, my dear Kaetuosai, I am very grateful to you. I'll give you an extra 25% share of the energy crystals that you require. 25%. I spend so much energy just to get so little, what a stingy fellow. The middle-aged man cursed within. However, he still displayed a smile full of gratitude, saying, Lord Luo, you are too generous. If you need anything, just give the order, I will do my best. Rumble. 3 beams of light shot down from the sky. Who is it? To actually dare barge in on Luo residence. As they roared, a group of universe-level slave guards rushed out. The 3 beams of light landed directly before the youth, releasing their powerful energies. 3 domain lords. The middle-aged man shuddered as he saw them. In the low-level civilization of the Silver Blue Empire, the strongest was only domain lord level 3. And now, 3 domain lords appear before them. Who are you? How dare you barge in on Luo residence? Luo Feng, on the family leader's orders, we are here to arrest you. One of the 3 domain lords took out a warrant and captured the terrified Luo Feng after. They flew black through the skies. I am Luo Yuqian, how dare you capture me? You must be tired of living. I am a member of the Luo family, who are you? The Ganwu supervisor envoy is my family leader, how dare you capture me? The offspring of the Luo family had power even greater than the royal family of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire princes, and these 20 were considered vicious within the family. With such methods, their achievements were naturally huge. However, when they found out it was the leader that had sent for them to be captured, they were all stunned. Rumble. The blood-colored triangular ship became a beam of light rushing towards the Milky Way galaxy's Qianhua planet. Within the control room, Luo Feng's cold gaze stared at the planet before him, almost like he could see the captured offspring of the family within. Qianhua planet, it was an important place for the Luo family in the Milky Way galaxy. And since Earth was discovered to be valuable by the Virtual Universe Company and the huge Axe Dojo, having a huge floating city built on Earth, Luo Feng began to decrease the use of the old Luo residence. Instead, he focused more on the home in the virtual universe Black Dragon Mountain Island in 9-Star Bay. Qianhua planet was one of their important gathering spots too. The number of Luo family members staying here long-term exceeded 60,000. Qianhua Planet, East Hemisphere. There was a jail for the Luo family surrounded by a copper wall with a diameter of over 1,000 kilometers. Great-grandfather, save me, save me. Within a cell, a handsome Luo Fuxian knelt within and grabbed the bars and cried. Within each of these cells were railings and other constructs of a normal jail. The materials used were of C9 to E9 alloys. HMPH, just what did you do to make the family leader catch you? Luo Hai's eyes gleamed like lightning, looking angrily at Luo Fuxian. Great-grandfather, I really don't know, I really don't know. I've always held myself to high standards. I didn't dare break the family set limits. Even though he was afraid within, on the surface he still maintained his innocent composure. He carefully recalled everything he did before. He thought he had been extremely cautious and prudent, not leaving any traces behind. There was no way for him to know. The Virtual Universe Company had surveillance throughout all the life planets, especially any planet that had humans, on few aboriginal planets, and others yet to be discovered, along with warrior territories. All these were all completely under surveillance. Everything Luo Fuxian had done, although it was untraceable by the family investigation team, the Virtual Universe Company, however, could find out everything easily. All right, I'll help you. As long as you haven't broken the family rules, I will guarantee you that you won't die. Luo Hai emphasized. Luo Feng had two sons, Luo Hai and Luo Ping. Luo Hai was a lot like Luo Feng. He enjoyed training and exploring the universe. Luo Ping was more like his mother Xuxin. He enjoyed management matters. The two of them had received the most exceptional education and hundreds of years of training. Both of them were very smart. Over the hundreds of years, Luo Hai had countless descendants too, of which there were naturally a few he favored. Luo Fuxian was one that he pampered more. Qianhua Planet, Luo Family's Plaza. Over 100,000 people had gathered here, all dressed differently. Other than the men in the family, many of their wives had gathered there too. Standing ahead of the entire crowd was Xuxin, Luo Ping and Luo Hai, along with Di Fan and some other sector lords. Rumble. A blood-colored triangular ship descended and landed in the plaza. The 100,000 people all didn't dare make a sound. Many of them were shivering with excitement as they saw the cabin door open. The Luo family's most exceptional foundation and core, he was the pillar of the entire family, the family leader Luo Feng. He had finally come. Many of the people were seeing him for the first time. Many children dragged over by their parents all stared wide-eyed. The cabin door opened. Two silhouettes walked out. One of them was a black-haired youth in green armor. He had a gold blade on his forehead. That powerful piercing gold law energy made people shudder. Beside him was a black-robed bald man that gave off an immense and seemingly endless amount of power. This made the countless family members all shiver with excitement. That is the family leader. What terrifying energy. Beside him is the legendary Undying Guard of his. Undying, yet is only a guard for our family leader. They were all extremely excited. Suddenly. Greetings, family leader. 100,000 family members all knelt down. Only Xuxin, Luo Ping, Luo Hai and few others remained standing. Luo Feng and Dylan flew down. Simultaneously Luo Feng kept the Yunmo planet ship. Xuxin, how's it going? Have all the 20 been captured and brought over? Luo Feng walked over to her and asked softly. Not that fast. Xuxin shook her head. Some are in other starfields. Even if I arrange for E9 grade ships to rush at their fastest speeds, they cannot get here in 3 days. It'll probably be, the slowest will reach here in 12 days. Right now, there are already 9 in the jails here of Qianhu Planet. Luo Feng nodded. He had traveled here via God Country teleportation. Naturally it was fast. Dad, why did you capture these 20? Luo Hai couldn't help but ask. We'll talk later. Luo Feng's gaze swept past the blur of 100,000 people. All of them added together seemed like there was a sea of people. Even though all of them were kneeling there, however Luo Feng sighed within. The family has indeed grown huge. including the women, the family members have exceeded 1 million. When I return from Primal Chaos City, the members would probably have exceeded over 10 million. The more people there are, the more the family has to enforce strict rules. We cannot let them simply enjoy. After which, Luo Feng brought Shushin and the others towards the living quarters. The 100,000 people waited till he left before all getting up, leaving and dispersing. Within the warm living room, Luo Feng, Shushin, Luo Ping and Luo Hai all sat about casually in the sofa. Dad. Luo Hai couldn't help but ask again, why have you ordered for the capture of these 20? That Luo Fushin, I watched him grow up since young, he's very exceptional and smart. Don't accuse wrongly the disciples of the family. Shut up. Luo Feng ordered coldly. Luo Hai was completely shocked. Luo Ping and Shushin were shocked too. They could feel that Luo Feng's temper today was explosive. Exceptional. Smart? Luo Feng said coldly, however he didn't use it in the right ways. 1. He doesn't train seriously to become a warrior. 2. He relies on underhanded methods to run his business. He already has the Ganwu business department's full support, and the help of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. If he works just a little, there's no way he can fail. However, he still uses these methods. Looks like he was brought up used to being pampered, without any setbacks. The moment he encounters an opponent, or obstruction, he doesn't know how to use competition to win them over. Instead, he simply kills them. Smart indeed, exceptional. Luo Hai, Luo Ping and Shushin were shocked. Luo Feng, do you have proof? Shushin asked. The family investigation department didn't. They didn't find anything, that's their incompetence. This is the information the Virtual Universe company gave me personally. It's definitely solid and foolproof, would it be wrong? Luo Feng frowned. Also, with the family growing more and more, and our resource growing along with it, we are allowing the later generations enjoy the benefits. However, even with so much resources, against a sea of people it would still be little. Hence, we have to increase the difficulty of actually acquiring these benefits, selections, competition, also training them well, strengthening the rules of the family. Shushin nodded, these are all within the plan. Luo Feng nodded, the rage on his face finally dissipating a little. He sighed, I know that the large families of the universe, with the amount of people within, would naturally have such problems. However, I didn't expect for the bloodline members, at below 1 million to already have such problems. Shushin, help me prepare, when all 20 are here. I want to hold family trial, make all the members on Qianhua planet come. All right. Shushin nodded. This trial was extremely important and Luo Feng was very prudent about it, not just for the Virtual Universe company, but also for his family. He wanted to use this, to scare his family, letting them know the severity of breaking the family rules. The moment the family rules were unbridled, there would be many corrupt members within the family. This was something he didn't wish to see. Your Majesty Luo Feng, this is the information you requested. Thanks. Luo Feng had requested information from the Virtual Universe Company's information department regarding Luo Fushin, Luo Yurong and all 21 of them. These required very low authority to gather, hence they were easily sent to him. After viewing all of it, Luo Feng couldn't help but grit his teeth and rage at the incompetence of the later generations. On the 13th day after Luo Feng returned, all of the bloodline members were gathered in the family court. The court was extremely huge, and was large enough to hold 1 million people to watch. I heard the leader wants to sentence a few members within. Who is he sentencing? I don't know. I heard they secretly captured quite a few, over 100, and he's personally sentencing them. It must be serious. Close to 100,000 members had gathered within the court, and were discussing in hushed voices. Immediately buzzing noises could be heard within as the court and the doors opened. All the members immediately grew silent, and 20 handcuffed men and women were dragged out. Look, it's Luo Fushin. It's Luo Tianqi. Wow, it's Luo Fangqiong, the beauty in the family, she was captured too. The many members were shocked as they watched the scene. 20 members of the family, all of them were forced to kneel on the ground. There was nobody initially in the main seat earlier, suddenly one silhouette appeared. It was a black armored Luo Feng. His gaze was as sharp as blades as he looked down on the 20. Family leader. Close to 100,000 members all shouted respectfully, after which there was silence. Family leader. The 20 members kneeling below all looked up in fear at the legendary being. He was a true power and pillar of the family, ranked in the top 10 of the absolute powers of the entire Ganwu universe country, Luo Feng. And right now he was gazing coldly at them, like they were 20 ants. Amongst the close to 100,000 people, Xu Xin, Luo Ping and Luo Hai etc. were there too. Luo Fuxin, do you know your crimes? Luo Feng said coldly. Family leader, I don't know. Luo Fuxin knelt there. The knowledge from before all useless, he could only force the words out. You don't, you have only been living for about 100 years. Luo Feng's voice was cold, yet you've killed over 10,000 innocent people that have never had any grudges with you, only because they affected your business. Killing in itself is not wrong, but after killing so many innocent people, you should die too. Ah. Luo Fuxin stared wide-eyed wanting to say more. You think that the family investigation department can't find anything? Yes, you are very careful and clever, not leaving any traces behind. However, if the family cannot find it, it doesn't mean the virtual universe company can't. Luo Feng stood high above and looked down on him. Luo Fuxin's face immediately went pale. The 19 others kneeling behind all changed their expressions when they heard that, and close to 100,000 people listening in court all were shocked as well. My God. So the family leader could check through the virtual universe company's information department on all of them. The company was such a huge power. Who would dare say they couldn't find anything? I sentence you to death. Luo Feng raised his fingers. A blade flashed and pierced through Luo Fuxin's forehead, leaving behind a bloody cavity. The kneeling Luo Fuxin had a face full of fear, after which it dimmed and he fell on the floor, blood pouring out and staining the floor. This scene shocked the close to 100,000 members within the court. This scene was also sent via synchronized broadcast over to the virtual universe company's upper echelon members, who were judging Luo Feng. This video will end here.